Pashmina P for Hasmark Publishing International. And this morning in Asia, I will be interviewing Michelle Tanmizi, author of Late Dawn. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
We have a series of questions from publishers, from bookstores, from your viewers online, and people who are just interested in getting to know who you are as an author. Can you tell us a little bit about Late Dawn and what inspired you to write this book?
Okay, so Late Dawn is a speculative science fiction. I like to call it that. In all honesty, it's interesting because it started many years ago. I was inspired to write the book because I was watching National Geographic, one of my favorite channels on television, and I saw this elephant attacking a village in India. The narrator was saying that, a lot of the elephants are now being pushed into smaller and smaller territories. Hence, Late Dawn is basically based on that documentary that I first watched.
That's wonderful. And who, as a person, is your biggest inspiration?
People who can put aside their lives just to save the earth, animals and earth. And one of my biggest heroes, of course, is Jane Goodall, whom I met in 2010. I met the heroes of Earth, in all honesty, because they do the work that we are not able to do ourselves. Jane Goodall is one person that I do admire tremendously. I mean, she's not very tall, but I can feel the power in her. She's a powerful woman. Powerful.
Amazing. That's wonderful, amazing. And what has writing given you personally in regards to becoming a bestseller and an author who is now in 4 bookstores globally?
Definitely a lot more confidence about being an author, because, it's one thing to say that you want to be an author, and it's something else to feel like you're an author. So having published a book, I feel now that the identity has settled. So I am an author. Being in 4 bookstores is almost like little seeds. It keeps adding to that little pot of confidence, right? It's filling it up little by little by little. The journey is not finished. I think the journey is still very long. But writing a book has, or at least getting it published, has made me aware that it is possible. That now the identity is stuck. I'm there. I am an author, and I will be an author for the years to come.
Wonderful. I can't wait to read your other books because I know that you are writing a few more. And what is one piece of advice that you could give authors who have no idea about the book world?
Definitely 2 things. Well, not one piece of advice, but at least 2 things that they need to know: patience and perseverance. Because it's a lot of going back and forth. It's a lot of listening to strong feedback and sometimes not very nice feedback. It's a lot of being able to be humble and taking the feedback constructively and working on your work. So it's about knowing that the novel will come to a fruition. It just takes time. And even once you publish, it's also about patience. It's not that what you've written is good and that you want to put it out there, you're happy with your work, and you know what, the rest will just come. But you have to have patience and perseverance.
I love that advice, because as an author myself, I mean, after 4 years of writing my trilogy, it's the same. It's an evolving and ever-growing process. So I totally get that. I totally understand you. So I did mention that you have more books on the horizon. Can you tell us a little bit more about those that are coming through?
Okay, so some people ask me, what do I do about writer's block? So when I have a writer's block, what I do is I stop writing and I turn around and I do something different. So when I get stuck, so when that moment comes, I sit down, I basically put the work aside, and I start writing little stories, short stories. And so what happens is that now the short stories has become a compilation of short stories of fantasy and science fiction, a novella, a short, about 40,000 words. And then the third book will be a full novel. And that one is the one that I'm still working on.
And what do you plan to do with your upcoming books?
Hopefully maybe a translation. You never know. I'd love my first novel to be translated into, for instance, Indian, because it starts in India, right? So it makes sense that I would like the Indian readers to read it. I would also like for it to be translated to, for instance, Chinese, because science fiction in China is coming up very quickly now, and I'd like to be in that race. Indonesian, why not? Because just being an Indonesian, it would be great to have the book translated as well to Indonesian. And French, why not? Because I speak French.
That's
So
great.
yeah, so the plans for my book is hopefully my first book will be taken for translations and maybe made into a movie.
I love your ambition. I love your forward thinking, and I love how you see yourself in all these different dimensions. And I think that's what's going to create excellent success for you in the future.
I realize when I look at all the authors around the world, the way they get to be a known name, let's say, a name that everybody knows, like for instance Margaret Atwood or even Stephen King, is when they get recognized in the movie industry. Once that happens, it seems to just become natural. Your name just suddenly goes poof and it's out there. So I guess based on their trajectory and based on their own journeys, I'd like to have that same journey. Because I love watching movies and I grew up on science fiction and I love everything that's about science fiction in the films. I think it's natural that I would like my book to go in that direction. And also people who have read it has often told me that, they can see it in the movies. So hopefully that becomes a manifestation that comes true.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Me too.
It will happen. I'm speaking from experience. So, I mean, you sound like a very enlightened author. I've been around a lot of authors this past 3 years, helping them with marketing, introducing them to reputable publishing houses, talking to them about their journeys, being an agent to them, being a mentor to them. I mean, you sound like somebody that people would want to talk to more and more and more. I know that over the past year, it's been a privilege being around you because you take feedback so well, and you really have questions, which is a wonderful thing, which has built something that other authors would love to hear from you. So do you plan to offer any courses or workshops or online courses, and what would you intend to highlight for viewers who'd love to get in contact with you?
I've actually done one when I was in France, this tiny bookstore that actually is now, now stocking my books, a workshop talk, yes. And it was very well received. So based on that, it would be on creative writing and how to structure a novel and how to get from A to Z. I'd love to be able to offer those kinds of courses, creative writing, but also about structuring a novel. In Singapore, I know that it's mostly about, I think it's about education. I've been approached by my own school, my primary school, my ex-teacher, who asked me if I would like to do a creative writing class for students, for primary students. And I would love to do that because I think I started writing when I was about 9 or 10. And I think it's nice to inspire kids to start writing.
So where can your viewers find you and your books? First, tell us where we can find your books, and then let us know how any of our viewers, our readers, our audience can find you personally.
Okay. Well, of course, my books are on Amazon, amazon.com, and it's in paperback as well as Kindle. But for the other venues, for instance, if you're in Singapore, I am in Kinokuniya. I'm in Times Bookstore in Singapore. I'm in Kinokuniya in Malaysia. I'm in Bookazine in Hong Kong. And of course, in France, I'm in Bookstop in Brantôme. Brantôme is one of the most beautiful, is voted one of the most beautiful cities in France. So I'm there. And then also I'm in Ubud in Ganesha Bookstore. If somebody wants to find me, they can find me on my website, which is Michelle Tanmizi, michelletanmizi.com, my name. I am also on Twitter, which is Tanmizi Author. And I'm also on Facebook, Michelle Tanmizi Author. So that's basically my handles.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for your time. And thank you for enlightening so many of us and the wonderful accolades that you have and what you've shared with us today. So I'd like to say thank you so much. And I hope to see you again really soon.